If you're looking at homes in Geneva, Illinois, one of the first things you are probably going to notice, Geneva is not usually the cheapest option in the Fox Valley. And that brings up the real question, which is Geneva actually worth its price? Because from the outside, Geneva checks a lot of the boxes. You have historic downtown, the Fox River, Metra train access, great schools, lots of things to do, like restaurants, festivals, parks, trails, and pools, and a variety of real estate from older homes with character to newer homes that dot throughout town, and that classic small town suburban feel that a lot of people desire. But once you start actually looking at homes, the taxes, the inventory, and what your money buys compared to nearby towns like St. Charles, Batavia, North Aurora, or even Elburn, the conversation gets a bit more interesting. So in this video, I'm breaking down the truth about living in Geneva, Illinois, what makes it so desirable, why people are willing to pay a premium to live right here, where the value actually is, and where Geneva may not make sense depending on your budget, commute, lifestyle, and expectations. Let's get after it. What's happening, everybody? This is Austin Weiss, your go-to real estate agent here in Geneva and the Chicagoland area. On this channel, I talk about what it's actually like to live in the Chicago suburbs, the housing, the lifestyle, the commutes, the schools, the trade-offs, and the things you really need to know before you make a move and actually buy a house. And if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in Geneva or anywhere in Chicagoland, feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. Anytime. I help people make these moves every single week, and I love connecting with people to simplify their entire moving experience. Now today, we are talking about Geneva, Illinois, one of my favorite Chicago suburbs, and Geneva is one of those towns that people tend to fall in love with pretty quickly. Charming downtown, beauty of the Fox River, and awesome homes throughout town. But it is also one of those areas where you need to understand what you're actually paying for, because Geneva is truly a lifestyle. And that lifestyle is exactly why so many people are eager to live here. Now, a quick background about Geneva. It's located in Kane County, about 40 miles west of downtown Chicago, along the Fox River, and it's part of what people commonly call the Tri-City area, which are Geneva, St. Charles, and Batavia. And this is important because a lot of people don't shop Geneva in isolation. They usually compare Geneva against St. Charles, Batavia, and the school districts as well. I've had numerous families call me from watching my videos who thought Naperville was where they wanted to live, then started exploring further and decided Geneva was the better fit for them for multiple reasons. So when people ask, is Geneva worth it? My answer is usually, what are we comparing it to? Because Geneva may look expensive compared to nearby Batavia and North Aurora, but compared to certain parts of Naperville, Hinsdale, Elmhurst, or even St. Charles, Geneva is a great lifestyle value. You're not just buying square footage in a house, you're buying access to a historic downtown, the Fox River, the Metra train, Geneva schools, the great parks, year-round events, and a very established community identity. And that's where Geneva separates itself from a lot of other suburbs. My wife and I really enjoy grabbing dinner along 3rd Street in the summertime, catching some live music, and exploring the street festivals and parades with friends at different times of the year. The reason Geneva commands a premium is pretty simple. It has a lot of the features people want, but not every suburb can actually deliver. It has a charming historic feel, mixed with natural beauty of the river, tree-lined streets, a downtown that feels different from a typical suburban shopping center, with fun nightlife, things to do, and eateries. And I highly recommend dining at Villa Verone just outside of downtown on the outdoor patio with a nice bottle of wine. And with people wanting outdoor space with places to explore, Geneva has a great setup. The Fox River runs right through town, allowing residents to connect to nearby Batavia and St. Charles via the Fox River Trail system. Island Park is a destination for its scenery and close proximity to downtown Geneva, while Fabian Forest Preserve has great serenity on both sides of the river. Definitely make sure to utilize those bridges so you can explore the entire park. Now, the Metra train access is what really separates Geneva from nearby communities, with the Metra station right downtown off of 3rd Street on the Union Pacific West Line, about a 60-minute commute right into Ogilvie Station in downtown Chicago, and those trains are always busy with commuters. We've been hanging out along 3rd Street in the past while a rush hour train comes by, and quite a few people are getting off those trains from the city. And strong schools, which is one of the major reasons families target the area, and we will talk more about schools later in this video. So when you stack those things together, Geneva becomes one of those towns where the demand is not really based on one sole thing. It's based on the whole package, and that is reassuring from a real estate standpoint and projecting future value. Because when a town has multiple demand drivers, schools, downtown, commute, parks, restaurants, and identity, it tends to hold people's attention even when the market gets more selective. Now, that doesn't mean every house or neighborhood in Geneva is automatically a great buy. It's desirable, but you still have to be careful about condition, location, taxes, and how that home compares to the alternatives. So stick around to the end of the video because I'll cover real estate and what to expect in Geneva. Let's start with downtown Geneva because this is probably one of the biggest reasons people are drawn here. Downtown Geneva is one of the best downtowns in the entire western suburbs. And what I like about it is the character. It doesn't feel like it was created 5 years ago by a development committee trying to manufacture charm and profits. It feels established with historic storefronts, tasty restaurants, charming boutiques, coffee and dessert shops, and it's definitely a destination people actually go to on the weekends. And 3rd Street is really the heart of that experience. That's where a lot of the shopping, dining, and walkability stems from. For people looking to relocate from the city, this is usually one of the main factors because one of the biggest fears people have when moving to the suburbs is that they are going to lose that ability to walk somewhere, grab dinner, get coffee, or feel like they are still connected to a real place. Geneva does a fantastic job solving that problem and creating a cozy community feel. It gives you a suburban lifestyle without making everything feel disconnected. And speaking of connection, you know that thumbs up button? Hit that thing if you enjoy my video. It gives me direct feedback to keep making more videos just like this. Now, not every home in Geneva is walkable to the downtown area, but note parking downtown isn't impossible like some other suburbs I know about. While many homes are walking distance to downtown and the train, some homes are further out west, where you get more space, amenities, different styles of housing, with a subdivision feel and more driving in your daily routine. So when someone says, I want to live in Geneva, the next question should be, what version of Geneva are we talking about? Because different parts of Geneva will have a very different feel. Both can be great, but it's just a different lifestyle. I've helped people buy homes throughout town in different types of neighborhoods and styles of homes, and everyone has nothing but positive things to say. And if you want to connect about your moving plan, make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. I want to provide all the information you need to make the right decision for yourself and your family. That said, let's jump into Geneva real estate because this is where Geneva gets pretty interesting due to its wide range of housing and price points. Closer to downtown, you're going to see more historic homes, homes with character, and generally smaller lots. You may also find riverfront property, which will run a premium not just in price, but also insurance as well. Now, I've touched on this before, the same wave of tear down and build new near a downtown area that's happening across the Chicago suburbs has also happened in Geneva. These homes will typically run in the 7 figures plus range, but you could certainly find existing refurbished homes within a mile of downtown and the river in that $400,000 to about $700,000 price range. Further out west, you start to see more subdivision style homes, larger floor plans, newer construction, compared to the downtown core and neighborhoods that feel a little more traditional suburban, especially in planned developments like Mill Creek that has walking trails, pools, golfing, and Eaglebrook with the country club and social aspect. So people are usually battling between charm and walkability versus more space, a newer layout, and maybe a little more convenience for day-to-day family life. And this is where I would really encourage people to be honest with themselves. What is it that you want in your day-to-day life? A lot of people say they want the conveniences and walkability to downtown, but what they actually want is a home near downtown that has already been renovated, has a great kitchen, updated bathrooms, a finished basement, a 2-car garage, great storage, newer mechanicals, and no major surprises. And everybody wants that house, and that house will cost more. So for simplicity, a couple miles out from downtown, $650,000 should get you about 2,500 square feet plus, 4 beds, 2.5 baths, a basement, and a fairly updated home built in the 80s and 90s. While downtown Geneva, prices vary drastically, anywhere from $400,000 up to $3 million, depending on the type, shape, and style of house. The main thing is Geneva can be worth the price when the home matches the lifestyle premium, but Geneva can also feel overpriced when the house needs a lot of work, the layout is dated, and the taxes are high, or you are far enough from downtown that you are not really getting the Geneva experience you are actually looking for. This is where I usually recommend comparing it against nearby options, because in some cases, Batavia may give you a better value, St. Charles may give you more nightlife and riverfront energy, Elburn may give you more house for the money, and North Aurora may get you into a newer home at a more approachable price point. But Geneva tends to win when someone wants the full package. Downtown, schools, river, events, train, and that community feel. Now, another major reason people look at Geneva are the schools. Geneva Community Unit School District 304 is the second ranked district in all of Kane County, and it includes a preschool, 6 elementary schools, 2 middle schools that happen to be right next door to each other, and Geneva High School, home of the Vikings. For a lot of families, the school district is one of the big anchors, and when you combine the schools with the parks, the downtown, and the community events, and the general overall family-friendly feel, Geneva becomes a pretty easy town for people to picture themselves in long term, which is important because some suburbs are great for one phase of life and then people move. But Geneva has a way of appealing to people in multiple phases of life. Young families, move-up buyers, people coming from Chicago, and downsizers all enjoy the atmosphere here. And there are a lot of long-term residents that tend to stay connected to the community, and that kind of broad appeal matters for resale value. When a suburb appeals to multiple groups of people, you are not relying on one narrow type of buyer when it is time to sell. Now, obviously, schools can vary by address, boundaries matter, and buyers should always verify the exact school assignments for any property. But from a big picture real estate perspective, Geneva schools are a fantastic investment. Now let's talk commute. And I just featured Geneva and the Tri-Cities in my Chicago suburbs for commuters video. So if train and or highway access is important for your lifestyle, make sure to watch this video right here. Geneva has a Metra station right in downtown off of 3rd Street, like I mentioned, and it goes along the Union Pacific West Line, which runs right into Ogilvie Transportation Center in downtown Chicago. For people commuting into the city, that is a major benefit. Now, full transparency, it isn't the shortest commute in Chicagoland, as the train will take about 60 minutes, but for people who need city access and still want a quaint river town, this is it, because having a train station gives Geneva a legitimate commuter advantage compared to towns where you are driving to another community just to catch the train. And like I mentioned in my other videos, commuter convenience holds great value for properties nearby. If you're a hybrid worker and only need access to Chicago maybe 2 or 3 days a week, Geneva can make a lot of sense. If you are going downtown 5 days a week and you need the shortest possible commute, then you may want to compare Geneva against towns further east like Wheaton, Glen Ellen, Elmhurst, or Downers Grove. And that's the honest commute trade-off. Geneva gives you lifestyle and space, but you're paying for it partly with distance. For highway access, Geneva is not directly sitting on I-88 the way some other towns are. You can still access 88 at Farnsworth Avenue in Aurora, about 8.5 miles away. So depending on where you live in Geneva, your drive to the highway can be easy enough, but it's definitely something people I work with often underestimate when considering where to live. They fall in love with an area, then later realize their weekday commute pattern is a little different than they expected. So here's a little advice. Make sure to test the commute before you buy a house. Drive during rush hour, ride a train to see how it works, and see what parking looks like. Then you'll have a better idea of how many hours per week you'll actually spend commuting, and if that town is the right spot to focus your time and energy looking for a house. Moving on to one of Geneva's biggest strengths is the outdoor lifestyle. The Fox River is a huge part of the identity here. You have the Fox River Bike Trail, like we mentioned, gorgeous river views, especially at Island Park and River Park near downtown Geneva. Sunset Park is another great spot with its community pool and water park setup with slides and water features. The community center with its fitness area is right next door, and you also have the ball fields for summer baseball. This is where Geneva feels less like one town and more like part of a larger Fox Valley lifestyle. You also have events like Swedish Days, which has been around for decades and is one of those community events that really reinforces Geneva's identity. My wife and I have enjoyed the Swedish Day Parade and Carnival numerous times and love seeing people out celebrating their community. And that's the part that can be hard to quantify in numbers, because Geneva has that invisible value where people genuinely want to spend time and give back to the town. Now, Geneva is great, but like any town, it's definitely not perfect. And if you're seriously thinking about making a move here, you need to know the downsides as well. So first off, Geneva can be expensive compared to nearby alternatives. And depending on your budget, You may find that your money goes further in nearby towns like Batavia, North Aurora, or even Elburn. Second, inventory is tight here. I looked at the numbers before filming, and there are less than 50 homes available between single-family homes, townhouses, and condos throughout the entire town. The homes that most buyers want, by the way, are updated, well located, near downtown, and have a good layout with reasonable taxes. Those homes tend to get the most attention, so if this is the area you want to live in, give me a call so we can put together a plan, go over the market, so you don't miss out on your favorite house. Now, thirdly, older homes can come with older home realities. That might mean smaller closets, detached garages, lower ceiling heights in certain areas, older mechanicals, quirky layouts, and some renovation costs. So just be aware of that. And fourth, Geneva is a bit far from Chicago. If your life is centered around the city every day, or you need to be near O'Hara, Oak Brook, Schaumburg, or downtown on a regular basis, you may need to be realistic about drive times. And fifth, not every part of Geneva delivers the same lifestyle. This is probably the most important point. If you're paying a Geneva premium because you want walkability, downtown access, and that historic charm, make sure the specific home actually provides that lifestyle. Because if you are living further out and driving everywhere anyway, you may want to compare what that same budget buys in nearby areas. And these points don't mean Geneva is bad by any means. I'm just providing perspective, and the value equation changes based on the exact neighborhood. Well, is Geneva, Illinois worth the price? Now, for a lot of people, I think so, especially if you appreciate character. Geneva is worth it if you value downtown charm, the Fox River access, Metra train, delicious restaurants, and a strong community identity. Between the lifestyle, location, and long-term demand, it could be worth it to pay a little more than surrounding areas. But if your top priority is a quicker commute, I would watch my videos about areas further east, or if it's to maximize house for the money, definitely watch my video here. I cover all the top areas where $600,000 buys the best house available. And if you want to connect about your real estate plan, I've helped dozens of families just like you who've reached out to me from watching my videos. No pressure, no obligation, just providing you with all the information you need to have a better understanding of the moving process here in Chicagoland. I can help you compare the towns, understand the price points, look at what is actually selling, and figure out which suburb makes the most sense for your lifestyle and budget. And if you already live in Geneva, I'm curious what you actually think. Is Geneva worth it to you, or do you think people get better value in some of the other suburbs? Let me know down in the comments. And if you like my videos, make sure to give me a thumbs up like this, and let me know in the comments what topic I should feature in a future video. But until next time, I'll catch you guys later.